Angela, thank you for being on our show. And this is one of my most favorite interviews because I have so much questions. So,
I'm an open book.
And my most loved liberal, ex-liberal.
Thank you.
And I saw your videos and they were very controversial, but I loved them because they were full of sarcasm. Most of the people didn't understand that they were actually sarcasm.
True that, yes. That's true.
And so, for me, being a conservative libertarian person, which were the most things in the Democratic Party would make you change your mind about the Democratic Party and then actually leaving New York City and coming to Florida?
Well, we're going to be here a while. No. I would say a big turning point for me was this most recent election. Trump won. And I just saw so many people on the left just doubling down, just rooting for him to fail. And I just found it ugly. I'm not going to, the results are the results. I accept them. America spoke. And I want him to do well. Like, I'm not rooting for him to fail. I love the country. So I started seeing a lot of that. And just a lot of extreme, radical things, the Teslas being burned,
the women who are shaving their hair want to have sex with any Republican man, right?
Yeah.
Never again, yeah.
So it's just, I would say things like, I don't think it's okay to burn Tesla. It's a crime. And people were like, oh, I was getting called a Nazi and a fascist for saying that. So simple things, just simple questions I was asking because I wasn't agreeing with all of the talking points in the echo chamber. Was getting a lot of hate and negativity from the left, and that's kind of been going on. A lot of people canceling me just for kind of speaking up and disagreeing about some things that the party's doing, and I don't feel like they have a solution. They're not learning from the election. It just feels like the same things rather than a plan going forward.
Yeah, but is not the Democratic Party actually the party of freedom of speech,
right?
My body,
right.
My choice.
Right.
And shouldn't that be actually First Amendment party? And right now it's more looking, you only have the right of First Amendment when you agree with the narrative.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great point. And so I'm right now in this place of just wanting to challenge things. And I think that's a good thing. I embrace that. I think it's good. It's natural that we disagree and we have different opinions. We're not all the same person. How boring is that, right? We're all individual and unique. So it's okay for people to have different ideas and opinions. Let's talk about it, in a respectful way, and instead of just this name calling and canceling. And so I hear you, and I think it's okay to disagree. So.
And when you see about all the rhetoric coming from the left side, we had this horrible assassination from Charlie Kirk, and in my opinion, the left didn't really help with all the rhetoric, or he's a Nazi. You get called a Nazi, and I don't even think that anything what you say is very
right.
fascist or would make it right to call you a Nazi. And then when you look over to Europe right now with all the censorshiping, what is your point on that? Is there a chance that this mistreating of freedom of speech in Europe can end up in America if the Democrat Party gets more and more power again?
I don't know. I think it's a valid fear, right? And so anyone who does feel that way, I think it's important that we keep speaking up. I feel like people try to silence you, right? And they try to keep things the way they are or the way that they want them. So I think that's why it is so important to speak up. And even though it's uncomfortable or people might not like what you have to say, or to do it, because, if it's important to you, if it's something you're passionate about, to fight for that change or to fight for things not to change, whatever it might be. It's scary. And so I think you got to trust yourself and what you're feeling passionate about and take action for it.
And you were on a podiums discussion about social media. And how do you feel welcome in this actually more conservative echo chamber? Because it's literally you came into the cave of wolves. Or like...
Yeah, that's kind of, I think, I don't know, not necessarily what I thought or expected, but it hasn't been that way at all. My experience has been super warm, super welcoming. I really respect and admire the fact that they did invite me to be here. I think that says a lot. That speaks volumes, that they were willing to invite me and bring diversity and different viewpoints and different political opinions and beliefs. I think that is amazing. And I've had so many good conversations with people, and we don't agree about everything, but we've been able to have a great dialogue. And I think that what I'm learning is we have so much more in common than people would think or assume. And that's why assumptions are so important to not, to get outside of that, to think outside the box and actually learn more about people, not just, think, that you know them based on their social media posts.
So one last question, because you are a former New Yorker, and there's right now this election for the mayor, and we have Mamdani running for the Democrats. In my opinion, he is more Islamist in Democrat clothing to give this idea of socialistic democratic policies. And it seems like he probably gets elected. And when you see what's happening right now in London, which is called Londondistan, and I fear that New York will be soon called New Baghdad. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned about what's going to happen to New York. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, it's a big part of why I left New York, is I was already not feeling safe there. And with Mamdani, I fear it's going to only get worse, because he is defund the police and I, with a mental health background, it's a little wild to me to think of him wanting mental health professionals to go down in the subway and talk to mentally ill people. It just sounds very dangerous in a lot of ways. And I've been really interested to hear the debates. And so hearing that bit of, this recent debate with Cuomo and him really focusing on the mosques, I thought was interesting for that to be the
main
focus.
Topic, yeah.
Right, exactly. So yeah, definitely concerns, and who's paying for all this free stuff, and
yeah.
Right. So yeah, I have concerns for New York, and New York is very near and dear to my heart. So I don't know how things are gonna pan out, but I am happy to be in Florida right now.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Vicky.
You.